see everyone. Today, I want to share some essential information concerning this article written by NBC News called Digital Records from 19th Century Give Black Families a Glimpse of Their Ancestry. Now, this article was informing the reader that the ever-so-popular genealogy site, Ancestry.com, somehow gained access to 3.5 million records of what they call, quote, previously enslaved black people. And now it's all available on their site for free. Now, some of you may think that this is all peaches and cream and no harm, no foul. However, with me assisting hundreds of people with their genealogy by records of documentation for at least 5 years now, I can pinpoint some issues here with this news, and I'm going to share them all with you here in this video. First of all, this article indicates that these newly uploaded records are part of the Freedmen's Bureau records and the Freedmen's Bank archives. And what's very essential to note here is the tone used by the author of this article when describing Ancestry.com's newly uploaded records, because it says, quote, it is believed to be the world's largest digitized and searchable collection of Freedmen's Bureau and Freedmen's Bank archives. The term believed is used here, indicating that it's their assumption that they may have the largest collection available, so they're not quite sure. And also, we can easily debunk this by just simply looking at the total amount of records they have, which is mentioned that it's a total of 3.5 million records. Now, with that being said, we know for sure that the population of our own people exceeds that 3.5 million number, especially when you're talking about the entire 19th century alone. Keep that in mind. So, these are not all of the records. In fact, these records were already available to people at the National Archives and other online sites, like, for example, FamilyTree.com, which is a non-profit organization, while Ancestry.com is a for-profit organization that just randomly decides to upload merely a fraction of these already available records. Keep in mind that the title of this article even says, Digital Records from 19th Century Give Black Families a Glimpse of Their Ancestry. A glimpse is a peek or a quick glance. It's short and brief. And if you think that's not important, then you got another thing coming here. Ever since it came into existence in the 1990s, Ancestry.com is well known for heavily campaigning its services to European consumers only, being as though Ancestry.com's database was produced by leaders and officers of the Church of Latter-day Saints. I bet you didn't know that. Now, all of a sudden, in 2021, they decide to include our ancestors' records online? Now, some of you may feel as though this is a good thing, but I have a problem with this, because how will we then know for sure that these records were not changed from their original versions for land ownership reasons and for other purposes, like to be sure that our people won't know the truth about their own people? And I say all of this because I want you to think about it now. Why have we not created our own archival libraries in order to demand that our ancestors' records that these people are holding be transferred over to become our possessions permanently? I mean, wouldn't you want to know your family's history? Wouldn't you want to know what happened to them and the reason why your family's name still carries on today? So, what if a stranger knows your family's history, gains access to those records that can verify your family's history, just so the stranger can decide to manipulate your family's records to fit their family's history or beliefs they may have religiously, or in order to take your family's place in the ownership of some land or business your family may have owned previously? That's essential information, vital, information. And a stranger should not be allowed to dictate what you should know about your family. And what gives any organization the right to collect records of our family members on our behalves individually? We didn't sign any agreement for this to continue on, where they act as if we gave them permission to do this. No, this has to stop now. So do your part by getting a hold of your own family records, because now all of a sudden they want to act like they want to help you. But mind you, there's a price to pay behind every scheme. And by the way, with these records being called freedmen records, that does not automatically mean that these people were previously enslaved, the way that we were told in school as students. Throughout my content on this topic, I shared primary sources that prove what slavery was and how slavery still exists right now, and how you can actually verify if any of your family members were previously enslaved or not. And even this article gives you a hint. It talks about sister going back as far as her third great-grandparents. Now, some of you may recall me stating that each generation is multiplied by 4. And what I mean by that is your mother has a mother and a father. And that also applies to your father. So you being the son or the daughter, this simply means that you have 2 grandmothers and 2 grandfathers. So there's your 4. So she has now gone back as far as her third great-grands, which is 3 generations back. That's about 25 years apart from each other. So for example, if her great-grands were born, let's say, during the year 1935, and then subtract 25 from this number 3 times, it brings you back to 1860, which is 5 years prior to slavery being allegedly abolished. That's very important, because that means that you can find out if your ancestors were slaves or not, to the point where you can check and see if it fits their narrative saying that our ancestors came off of boats from West Africa. It's not hard. And I must stress this issue. You don't need a stranger telling you about your own family story, when you can just simply ask your family to tell you, and or even grab records that verify their stories, because they do in fact exist. Now I bet with this sister going back as far as her third great-grandparents that she found out about slavery, okay? I put a lot of money on the fact that she probably discovered that her parents or great-grandparents were landowners or farmers or business owners, or if they did do a job, they did a job, okay? But see, they're gonna call it a job. They're not gonna call it slavery. See there? And this is the reason why I'm stressing this issue, because I need you guys to understand that they have been placing lie upon lie upon lie just so you won't go and check. That's why genealogy is the key. That's why, because what you have to do is, I'm talking about, pull up your own family records for yourself. Stop listening to these companies that don't really have your best interests in mind. They're just there for your money. Remember, I told you they are a for-profit organization. So you know why all of a sudden they picked 2021 to put a few of your records out. It's the reason why they didn't want us to know what's going on with these records. They know for sure, as soon as we take a look at these records and peek and see how our ancestors were thriving back then, okay? They know we're gonna know something up. And regardless, this is gonna happen, okay? It's inevitable. They can't stop it. So yeah, I'm stressing the issue. Go get your records and hurry up and do it before they try to grab the rest of them and manipulate them. Hurry up. Because there is a sense of urgency here. These matters are essential and key in order for our people to overexceed and overachieve generationally. I feel as though once we take control over our mindsets, we can fix the problems that we complain about on a daily basis. And this is the reason why I tell you at the end of each of my videos the same message. I'm just here to make you think.